Coach Collins, good to see you again. I saw you speaking at Rotary. We were just talking about that a couple of weeks ago, and I know I've watched some of your online interviews. You get tired of talking about your team? Probably never.
No, it's okay.
Never.
We got a good team. It's nice to be able to talk about them
Oh,
sometimes.
you do. And did you work out that we were trying to work out a sponsor for oxygen for me? We get that.
Well, hopefully for the people at the table, the scoreboard that's going in, the video board that's going in up there will help make these substitutions and who's in the game and who's out of the game a little easier.
Yeah, that's going to be. So. I was just talking about that with Coach Browning. That's a very nice addition to the W.T. Watson Athletic Center this year, and you've got most everybody back, don't you?
Yeah,
or you do have everybody back pretty much, don't you?
Every single player. So we have 15 players on the team last year, 15 returned, and then we actually added a few. So we've got quite a large roster, but overall we're pleased with where we're at. It's always good when you can return your whole team.
It's nice, Coach. As far as the local fans are concerned, you've got two young ladies here that are on your team that folks in Magnolia have been watching play for a while, and we're glad to see both of those come back and get on your team.
Yeah, it's we started when I got here. We wanted to have the majority of our team within a 2.5 hour radius of campus. We wanted to try to recruit, whether it be in Louisiana, East Texas, Arkansas. We wanted to recruit within a 2.5 hour radius of campus and try to really sign people who may want to come back to Magnolia for a long period of time. And then not long after being here, I realized that there was two people from way less than 2.5 hours, only about a 1 minute radius away that were playing in a junior college. And we wanted to do what we could to get them back. And it's been a great experience for them, and they've obviously been great players for us. So it's been something we've been really proud about.
Yeah, when you got those fans, I guess the closer that the athletes are, the closer that their families are, and they can come out and watch them. And so it's good. It's a win-win. It's good for them, but it's good for the program too.
Absolutely. We've got a great fan base. We have some parents that haven't missed a game in their entire time of being here, even all the way in Oklahoma. And so, that was one of the things that we wanted to do. And so it's great to have them, and it's great to have their families come watch them play.
You went through a lot of adversity last year, and, hopefully come out here fresh new year. And all these young ladies, as we said, they have another year under their belts, and just looking for good things, I'm sure, aren't you?
Yeah, I think, as I've told a few people, we kind of end up looking at last year like a push. We had some unfortunate circumstances, none of which were really our fault, but we continued to get some games canceled. And I think, that was one of the reasons everybody wanted to come back. Everybody felt like we had a good team last year, and because of unforeseen circumstances, we weren't able to compete the way we were. We lost multiple games in the final minute of the game, and sometimes even in the final second of the game. We lost a game with 1.1 seconds to go. We lost a game with 0.2 of a second to go. So I think we had a commitment from those players that not only did they want to come back and win, they wanted to come back and win together and kind of just look at last year as a work in progress, and that we can, what can we do this year? And so they've done really, really well. And we were ready to put that behind us and get started on Friday.
I'm going to say, if I was a senior athlete, the last thing I would, for your all, because you're going to be remembering your last year of eligibility for many, many years to come. And you don't want it to be last year with all the stuff that went on last year, do you?
No, absolutely. And I think even in particular the last game, I think there was a few that almost immediately, if they were even thinking about it, they knew immediately that they wanted to come back, because I'm not finishing my career losing to Wichita in the playoffs with 1.1 seconds to go. Yeah. And so, I think it was almost an immediate thought process of them coming back. And so, I think there was a lot that didn't want it to end that way, and we'll probably continue to see that. I mean, every player, not just the seniors, got their year back. So as they get older and juniors become seniors and sophomores become juniors, you'll see more kids starting to have to make that decision on whether or not they want to play an extra year, because they all have an extra year.
So you're going with a slowdown game this year, right, Coach?
Well, it's a little slower maybe than what it's been from the
just because they're a year older, right?
I think we're trying not to. We may not see as the subbing of 5 people at a time. We're going to play the exact same way, but we might allow for people to play a little longer than 2 minutes. In C, we tried that in our first scrimmage game, and it looked to work very well, where some people showed us that they could do what we wanted them to do and stay out there for 3.5, 4 minutes without being subbed. So you're going to see the exact same chaos type style of play, but you will see probably less of the 5-and-5 subbing.
That give you an opportunity maybe to stay with the hot hand a little longer, maybe in certain situations.
And give people a chance to get the hot hand, I think, sometimes. I do think that there's a lot of benefits to how we play, but particularly an area last year that we felt we would do better in was three-point shooting. And as a coach, one of the things that you always try to look at is what's my hand in it. You know, it's not just on the players. What do I need to do to try to help that situation? And I think sometimes for three-point shooters, you might be in for 2 minutes and you get one shot, and then the next 2 minutes you might not even take one, and then the next 2 minutes you might get 7 shots based on how we play. And so I think it was hard for them to kind of get in a rhythm sometimes. And so, because I know we have great three-point shooters, so that's one thing we're trying to do is allow the players to get in a little bit better rhythm.
Give them a chance to get on a streak, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
Got to get a few shots. Talk about you're getting ready to go this weekend, aren't you?
Absolutely, yeah. Friday. I wish it was next Friday, but I think every coach says that once you get to like a week out from games, you probably feel like, oh, we still have this and this and this to do, and we're not quite ready yet. But I think we're ready. If anything, we're as close to being ready as we can be on the court, and then they're definitely ready to not play against each other. We only had one scrimmage. We were only able to find one, and because of some time commitments from the team we were scrimmaging, it was supposed to be later, closer to us playing, and it actually ended up being in the first weekend. Like we practiced like 7 days and then turned around and had a scrimmage. And so we've basically been going at each other for the last 3 weeks, and I think they're really tired of going at each other, and they want to go at someone wearing a different uniform.
I want to say, yeah, the pressure that you put on, I can imagine there might be some hard feelings among teammates when you go after your own teammates that way.
Well, and I think
not that you're dirty or anything like that, but you're just out there. It's tenacity, I guess, is a good word for it, isn't it?
Yeah, and in a game you get to sub some. Even if we sub less, you get to sub some. At practice, you really don't get to sub. So you're playing the way that we get to do, and there's not very many subs out there. So you're just, it's a 2-hour practice, and you're going up and down and up and down and up and down for 2 hours. And sometimes you don't have any subs. And particularly for our point guard, sometimes it's like, I need to be able to sit down and let the person I'm playing against come in for me while I take a breath. And they don't have that option at practice. So I know that they're ready to see somebody else. And as you said, you're competing for playing time, so that can get, a little physical sometimes, especially as we get closer to games. But I think they are excited. They get along great as a team, and we're ready to put battling against each other behind us and play against somebody else.
Coach, I'm looking forward to a big year. You can't put a whole lot of credence in preseason polls. Most preseason polls kind of say, well, what they do last year? Okay, we'll do that again. But you, like we said, we kind of talked about some of the things that went on last year. I think with all this experience coming back, you're in pretty good position going forward, aren't you?
I think so, yeah. The preseason polls mean absolutely nothing. And, I think, sometimes the higher you're picked, the harder it is. It's a lot harder, I think, to be number one and be at the front of it, and then everybody expects you to be good. We know we're going to be good, and so if everybody expects for us not to be good, then that's fine. They can believe what they want to believe. And I think in general, if you look at the last few years since I've been in this conference, there's really not much of a difference between ninth and third. I think a couple years ago we had a great season, and with 2 weeks to go, we were one game out of winning the regular season conference championship, and we end up going into the conference tournament at 8th. But if we'd have won one game differently, we'd have gone into the conference tournament at 3rd. So the difference between 3rd and 9th in our league, there's so many good teams and so much competition that, 1 and 2 usually separate themselves, but 3 through 10 is pretty much right there equal with each other. And so, my answer to the girls, the players were like, well, why'd we get picked 9th? We shouldn't have got picked 9th. And we're better than this team that's ahead of us, and we're better than that team that's ahead of us. And my answer to them was, well, we should have beat them last year. Like, we lost to those teams. Yes, it was, in the final seconds in a lot of those games, but they beat you, and everybody's got everybody coming back, and they beat you, and we didn't beat them. So people, as you mentioned, people voted on last year. So that's what you got voted on.
And of course, what matters is the end, not the beginning.
Postseason poll. Who gets into
go.
the conference tournament is what matters, not what was voted on in August.
Coach Collins, looking forward to it. Again, you get started this weekend in Missouri, Friday and Saturday. When's your first home game, Coach?
It is.
I'm sorry, I should have it in front of me.
That's okay. It's the Saturday after Thanksgiving. All right, we play Christian Brothers at home. So our first 4 are on the road. Kind of made that mistake. Didn't realize I made that mistake until it was too late. But in my head, this opening season tournament that we've played since I've been here with Lincoln and Upper Iowa, it's almost like you just don't count that as a home game, or you know that you signed up for a 4-year deal and everyone's going to get a chance to host, and you forget that those are 2-year games. So as I'm making my schedule, I'm like, oh yeah, those 2 games are on the road. Like, we're on the road for those games, and then I also made the next 2 games for on the road. So we go, we have those 2, then we go to Rogers State in Tulsa the following Saturday, and then the week of Thanksgiving we have the Wednesday before Thanksgiving on the road, and then Saturday our first home game is the Saturday after Thanksgiving. We would love for anybody who's tired of eating leftovers and has done all of their Christmas shopping on that Friday, if they have nothing to do on Saturday, hopefully we give them something to do in Magnolia and come out and see us run around and press and shoot a bunch of shots and try to give them something fun to watch.
I'm ready for it, Coach. I'm ready for it. Looking forward to it. So thank you very much, Coach Adam Collins, who is, the head coach of Southern Arkansas University women's basketball. Good luck this weekend, Coach.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.